So, welcome and hello to the Lean Startup in a Nutshell workshop. At first, I would like to say thank you to Budapest Enterprise Agency for having me. And I'm really looking forward for the next 2 hours with you guys. I will introduce myself a little later, but first you can take photos all the time if you want, but I will send you the presentation afterwards, and you will get a follow-up email with some further information about the methodology, so don't worry at all if you don't understand anything. I will send you some, and of course you can contact me afterwards. If I speak too fast, or if you have questions, just raise your hands and say, Jules, slow down a little bit, or Jules, I have a question, then I will answer it. Okay. Yeah. I already told you that it's a Lean Startup in a Nutshell workshop. I did it before, one time in English in Spain, so it's just my second time to do it in English. So, yeah, don't be too hard with me when there will be some, like when I have something like this, like I have it at the moment. So if you are ready, I'm ready, and I would start the presentation. So I'm an Apple user. I'm not so comfortable with this. Yes, here it is. This? Oh, not at all. Okay, this is all Hungarian. I'm not so good in Hungarian. Yeah, sometimes it's a little dark, but really don't mind. You will get the presentations afterwards so you can see all these nice pictures. Yeah, to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Jules Banning. I'm working at Startplatz. We are an accelerator and incubator in the Rhineland. We are helping startups to develop their businesses, and I am there responsible for the events and the education. I'm called Head of Events and Education, but I don't really mind about my title or position. Yeah, I'm a Lean Startup coach, and I'm also a pitch coach like Vida Andersen is. I think some of you already know Vida from pitch trainings. Yeah, when I'm not working, I'm totally in love with my city, Cologne. I'm born and raised there, and really happy about this. And I'm totally in love with music and the hip-hop culture. And these are just some pictures to introduce myself. And of course, when I'm not working, it's not too many times, but yeah, then I spend time with my friends. And this is the reason why there is a small picture of me and my girls sitting in the sun. Okay, but first of all, I think all of you know Star Wars and Yoda. Okay, I brought Yoda with me because the Force is with me now, hopefully. And Yoda says once, you want to know the difference between a master and a beginner? The master has failed more times than the beginner has ever tried. And this is a really great quote about Lean Startup, because Lean Startup is just about this, like fail fast, try out your things, get it out of the streets and see what your customer will tell you about this. So, because we have this one problem in our world. Our digital transformation is really like having a lot of speed. This chart just shows you how long, how many time it takes to reach 50 million people. And if you look, the airplane took around 70 years to reach 50 million people. This was, yeah, quite slow. If you now watch the internet, just took around 5 to 7 years to reach 50 million people. And Facebook, there was around 3 years when they had this number of users on their website. And now a question to you. What do you think? How many time or how many days, months, years did WhatsApp have to reach 50 million people? Any ideas? Just shout in the room. 1 year. 1 year? Okay. Any other ideas? Half a year. We have 1 year, we have half a year. Anything else? It was a little bit over a month. It was 35 days. And I don't know, we had I think it was 3 or in summer 4 years ago, it was really like a disaster taking a walk with my mom because she was always doing things like this. I don't know if it was so popular here in Budapest like it was in Cologne, but we had this Pokemon Go thing around 4 years ago. Yeah, everybody was just hunting for these special Pokemons. And what do you think? How many days, how many weeks, month does Pokemon Go? To reach, yeah? 2 weeks? Any other idea? It's quite near. It was around 8 days. So you see how fast it is. So if you found a company or if you're doing a startup, you need to be fast. So also you have to fail fast. You cannot do everything in a rush, but yeah. And there is a little bit a god of all these startup methodologies, so hard word. This is Alexander Osterwalder. Alexander Osterwalder was the inventor for this business model canvas. I don't know, does anybody filled out a business model canvas before? Okay, 2 people, 3, 4, 5? Okay, cool. We will not do the business model canvas today, we will do the lean canvas, but more to that a little bit later. And what Alexander Osterwalder says was that every business model has an expiration date like yogurt. So it is your thing to see how can I make my my yogurt a little better. Can I make an ice out of it? Can I maybe just add something that the expiration date is not in a month and then maybe in some years? So, and if you look at these business models, who had a Nokia handy? A Nokia mobile phone? I think nearly everyone. And yeah, what happened to Nokia? I think we all know what happened to Nokia. This and Samsung happened to Nokia. Now they have a little comeback, and I really hope that they will, getting better. But Kodak was also a really traditional company and really loses all their customers. They were the inventor of the digital camera, but they are gone now. And of course, Blockbuster, I think it's the most easiest way to understand what happened. Blockbuster was the biggest DVD rent thing in the world. And what happened to Blockbuster? Who came? Netflix. Yeah, Netflix came, or all the streaming things came and really like killed everything. So we have these digital champions in the world who are really disrupting our industries. For example, we have Airbnb who are really disrupting the whole hotel industry. We have Netflix, we have Spotify who are really disrupting the whole music industry. So all the artists and labels really need to find new solutions to sell their products, because we do not go to the shop and buy CDs or anything. We just download or just streaming music in the internet. So yeah, I brought you a quote from a really popular man. Who knows where Brian Chesky is? Brian Chesky is the CEO of Airbnb. And he said once, it's 5 years ago now, Marriott wants to add 30,000 rooms this year. We will add this in the next 2 weeks. This is just a quote that shows you how fast it is. Maybe it's a little bit like, yeah, I don't think that he will manage it in 2 weeks to get 30,000 new, I don't know, Airbnb flats, but it's much, much faster than the hotel do, because the hotel needs to buy something, needs to build, needs to get new employees and everything. And yeah, he just needs to make a little online advertising, yeah, and then he can really like acquire new customers. So, for you, What is a startup in your mind? Yeah.
So if it's so quick to build up,
Yeah.
question how fast do they fail?
Um,
If we can get 50 million users in 3 weeks,
mhm.
how many days does it take to lose 50 million users? If it takes, 2 weeks to get 30,000 users, how many days till it lose 30,000 users? So we always concentrate on the upside, but I think the downside is just as fast.
Yeah, and this is the reason why you really have to listen to your customers and really like observe the market, what will happen. Because if there are changes in the market, or if there is maybe some legal stuff are changing, then you can lose a lot of customers really fast.
No, what I'm saying is that if I'm a VC, I'm not sure I'm happy with 30,000 rooms every in 2 weeks, because it might be just fluctuation, which means that 30,000 up, 30,000 down. It's not a good scenario for an investor.
No, of course not. Of course not. But you see, I think the most startups first are like really like trying to bootstrap or trying to test something out to really like say, do I have a valid business model or not? And there are a lot of business models, and we will come to this question in 2 slides. But we can talk about this. What do you think? How many startups, how many products, projects are failing out of 10? 9 are failing. And this is really, yeah, a number who's like really shocking on the one hand, but on the other hand, yeah, maybe they are not observing their market and not knowing their customers good, or maybe they have cost and price problems, but yeah, we'll come to it later. I will talk too much. So, in your mind, what is a startup for you? How do you define the word startup? No ideas?
Business with great growth potential in a relatively short time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is one important aspect as well. They are all in a search mode. And you are all in a search mode. Not all of you. Maybe some of you are really like found their valid business model and get money out of it, and it's really like scalable and everything. But in the first moment, it's like really searching what is my model, what is my perfect business model. I'm a founder by myself. I founded a cocktail bar on a bike. So yeah, really cool idea, cocktail bar on a bike. We can go to a park, to a lake, sell cocktails, yeah. But what do we have in Germany? We don't have the allowance to do it. So we just can serve business events or birthdays or weddings and everything. And this is not, yeah, we don't get enough money out of it. And this is the reason why our business model is not valid enough. Maybe someday when every legal stuff is a little bit easier in Germany, then we can do it, and it would be a really nice student job. So remember, or think about it, you could go by bike to a park and just sell some cocktails and get in touch with some people, really nice, but yeah. We failed in our search mode. Not too bad, but we failed. So a definition from Steve Blank and Eric Ries, beside Alexander Hosterwalder, also really, really important people in this whole startup scene. Yeah, we're thinking about a definition about what is a startup. And a startup is a temporary organization in search of a growth-oriented, scalable, and sustainable business model under extreme uncertainty, because you don't know anything when you start. Maybe you know something about it. When you were working somewhere and were like, okay, there is a problem, and I always try to solve these problems in this way and in this way and in that way, and yeah, why I don't found a company out of it? Yeah, and then you have maybe directly customers and everything, but yeah, in the first step, you don't know nothing. And this is how startup life looks like. So, but this is what I see in Germany. Our startups are really like in this chaos mode, in this search mode, like running the 1 week in the left direction and the other week in the right direction, and yeah, changing every time. And if they really have found their business model and have found their first customers and everything is running really well, they go into execution. So everything is being a little bit like, it gets calm, more calm a little bit. And you cannot see it so good, but you have a really like big boat with big boxes on it, and here is a really small boat with just one box on it and just some people. And what you need to remind a startup or a small company is not a version of a big company. Yeah? The big boat is able to really like transport a lot of these container boxes, yeah? But if you see this small boat, this startup boat, he can only, or this boat can only like transport one of these container boxes, and they only have maybe 4 or 5, I cannot see it, so got 4 or 5 people on this boat, but they have one thing, one unfair advantage to this company boat, because the startup boat can change the direction much faster because there are not too many people on the boat, yeah, but they are not able to transport more than one of these boxes. But you can really try to change the direction of this really big boat. It took a long time. And if you remember when you are working in a company with more than 100 employees and you go there the one day and say, okay, from now on we will go in this direction, you will see what happens. I think a lot of your employees will say, okay, thanks for having me, I'm out of it. So it's a little bit too fast, so you have really to work with your people and your customer and everything. So, and the other thing I already told her, we have already spoken about it, is that 90% of all new product startup services failing. You cannot see it so good. And this is something where I take my grandma as an example. I'm often working at my grandma's home because, yeah, she's old and she loves to spend time with me. And then I'm sitting on her balcony and trying to work on my laptop. And the sun is shining, and I cannot see anything on my laptop. It's a little bit like here, yeah? We don't have really good opportunities to see anything. And then if she would, if she had thought about, okay, I need to find a solution for Jules because, yeah, she's like sitting somewhere in the corner and hiding herself under a towel just to see something on her laptop. And she would like produce something like this. This is something like a cover to like protecting from the sun and the light. And if she had produced this one time for me, it would be a great MVP, yeah, a great prototype. But if she had produced this because she knows, okay, if Jules has this problem, maybe Yeldrick, my colleague, or some of my other colleagues has this problem as well, and she was like producing all of this, and then like say, okay, who wants to have it? And I was like, okay, it's a cool MVP, a prototype, but nobody wants to buy it, Grandma. Then I would have these whatever 10 or whatever 100 of these protection things now laying somewhere in my flat and nobody wants to buy it. And yeah, we have some more things there. So another question to you guys, what are the most common reasons for a failure of an innovative startup or service? Yes, of course. Wrong time? Yes? Anything else? No functioning business model. Anything else? The top scorer isn't in it, yeah? Not the right target group? Anything else?
Weak team.
Weak team? The top scorer isn't in it? The founder. I name it founder's attitude because we have weak team already. No demand. Anything else?
Yeah, lack of funds.
No funds?
Funds, yeah.
Anything else? Investors?
Stop financing.
Okay. What do you think? Which point is the top scorer?
It's not on the list anymore.
Now it's on the list. Yeah, absolutely right. It's the market demand. It looks like this. No market approach, no demand. Or this lack of liquidity, you already said it. The wrong or weak team or wrong founders as well. The competitors or the competition is too big. And of course, cost and price problems. What?
What do you mean by liquidity?
Yeah, missing liquidity. There are like, if you are, in Germany, it's not so easy to get an investment. Nearly not possible to get any money from the government or anything. And yeah.
No, but it's just general financing of the company. That's
Yeah.
litigation.
Yeah, everything out of it. So if you don't have money and if you just need to earn a little money to develop your business model again,
Small amount of money, like cash flow, not funding, but actual cash flow, the day-to-day cash flow.
cash flow and of course funding, everything around this liquidity financing problems. And what do you need to keep in mind? There are a lot of good ideas, but in the most cases, there is no market. So I don't know if somebody of you would like go through their flats and clean it in this way. So yeah, 66% of the most successful products and startups have drastically changed their initial plan on their way to success, and also Flickr did. Does everybody know what Flickr is? So Flickr is photo sharing platform. Do you know what the founders did before they did Flickr? Yeah? No? Okay, you were just correcting the camera. They were developer of an online game. Yeah? They were just like nerds who were like, who wanted to develop a new online role game. And in this online role game was one little feature. The feature to communicate with each other. And on top, they just placed, okay, they can communicate, but they can also send pictures to each other. And they were like really observing and seeing like, what are all the gamers doing? They were like sending pictures from A to B like hell. And they were saying, okay, this is a freaking small feature in our online role game, and the game is not like really running really well. So let's take this feature and develop a whole business or a whole new business model out of it. And we all know what happens. I think it's now 10 years ago, 2007, Yahoo bought this for 24 million US dollars. So I think they are really lucky now. So this is what a journey looks like. You really they failed in the first time when they just developed their online game. I didn't heard about the successful Flickr founder having a successful online game running. So they failed, and maybe they failed on the way again, I don't know. But it's all about failing and learning out of it, and having your experience and just take your experience and make something out of it. And there is not a way to success and not a way to fail. Yes?
Chester Carlson invented the photocopy machine in 1938. He went for 10 years he tried to sell it. Kodak, IBM. General Electric told him there is no demand for a photocopy machine in the world. Nobody wants to copy papers.
Yeah, but sometimes it's too early. then they were a little bit too early. You know, like, okay, but they were like holding on, and sometimes it's not the right time. We have a lot of digital products where it's not the right time for it. We had something like Facebook in Germany before, and then, yeah, it was running okay, but then Facebook came and, yeah, kicked everybody out of this social media platform game. So, yeah, Facebook was at the right time, at the right spot, and, yeah, the platform of Germany didn't. So sometimes it's, yeah, you need to be at the right time, at the right point.
But I think the real game is to create.
Yeah, or this. But sometimes you can really like try to create demand, but you cannot create demand for anything, for everything. But because, look at this. Do you think that you will create a demand for this?
And I think the development of a product itself involves the game of creating demand. And the developer of a product should actually take that into account as well. That we have to create markets. So you are right, no demand for that.
Yeah, no demand for that. But yeah, you can really like develop, but then you are really like talking with your customer and like saying, okay, this is maybe not the right thing, but I develop a little bit further and I try this and that, and maybe you will get to a point where you can really like create demand for it, like the Flickr guys do, or even YouTube did the same. What do you think did YouTube, or what was the thing why the YouTube founders found YouTube? They found YouTube to present themselves, or to give people the possibility to get to know each other. The first video on YouTube is the YouTube founder telling something about himself on YouTube. And what is it now? Now it's like streaming for music. It's like learning with tutorials. I learned to paint my nails there. I learned to do some makeup stuff out of YouTube, you know. So it's not the first plan they had out of it. And yeah, to really like get to know more about your customer and your market and everything, you can really like take the tools and the methods out of the startup world. Now we are talking about lean startup, but there is design thinking, there is agile development, you have like business model canvas tools, and you have now tools in nearly everything, or other things. And we are now talking about lean startup, and lean startup is all about build something, measure, and learn something out of it. Like build a product, build your prototype, get it out of the market, or talk to your customer and see what will happen, gain data out of it, and then learn out of it, and then do it so many times till you have this scalable, growth-orientated business model. Because if you do it like this, and this is how many big companies doing it. I worked in a company in a big sports association, and they were thinking about, okay, we would like to have a platform for sports videos. So, and I was telling them, okay, a platform for sport videos, but we have YouTube. Why we don't just do a YouTube channel and put our videos on this? And now my boss was saying, no, Jules, we need to have our own platform. I was like, okay. So they spent 250,000 euros. They put an employee on this project full-time, and it was a 10-month project. And what happened? What do you think? Do you think we have a successful, or did you heard about a really successful video platform for sports? No, not at all. The money is burned, the employee is demotivated, and the time is gone as well. So, yeah. And this is like 250,000 bucks are not too much. There are really like companies who are really like burning millions of euros or dollars or whatever. Yeah, because they are creating directly. When you have the market, do I have a pen? If you have the market here and they're developing something here, so it will not work. And if you do it like a little bit like in smaller pieces, like just creating a little bit or testing out something, or in the first place you just have the idea and you just like release your website and see, okay, and maybe doing some online advertising on it, and then you can see, okay, is there a need for it? Is there a problem? Or if you just go out and talk to whatever 100 people out of your target group, if there is a need out of it, and then you can create, and you save more resources than you do it in this case. So, Lean Startup is a systematic process where you iteratively, so move from an initial plan or a plan A to a plan that works before the resources are gone. So, and the meta principles are like document a plan 1. You can do it with a canvas, a lean canvas, a project canvas, a business model canvas. And then you can identify your riskiest assumptions, and then you can test your riskiest assumptions. This is just a structure that can help you to develop your business model. So you can use this canvas as a communication tool. And there is a really great book. This is from Alexander Osterwalder. I can highly recommend this to you, but you don't need to buy the books. There are also a lot of cool videos. I wanted to show you one video, but yeah, because of some technical problems, I cannot show this to you, but yeah, I will send it in the email. So this is the business model. We will talk about the lean canvas, but at first I just want to give you some advice how to work with this canvas. So you have this, I show it to you. You have this canvas, and it's really nice. It's big enough, it's good material. So yeah, if you would write directly on this canvas, you could not use it for another business model again. So my recommendation is do not write on the canvas. Use Post-its or steady markers like this. And yeah, then you don't have a problem. Then you can also use color coding. It's really cool when you have a, yeah? No, I don't understand your question right. What?
Because the model looks like it's really, so lean startups are usually, nowadays go to Kickstarter to try their projects out and just see their customers because, the platform.
This could be one idea, but not at all. You can also test it to just go out on the streets and try to sell your product out of the street, because you need a lot of money to start a Kickstarter campaign. I think it's $10,000 you need for a Kickstarter campaign.
I don't really know the numbers. I'm really new member in this.
But yeah, this is one possibility to roll out your product or your business idea on, if you have a really like a product, roll out it on Kickstarter and see how many people would like to fund this idea. I don't know, do you have something like Kickstarter here in Hungary? A platform, a crowdfunding platform? We have like Start Next, this is the German Kickstarter. So maybe this could be another business idea for one of you to maybe create a crowdfunding platform for Hungary. So yeah, but going back to the canvas is like, do not write on the canvas, so you can use it for whatever, 1,000 business models. And color coding, it's really cool to have a really colorful lean canvas. But if you have different colors, you don't know what the color means. So like think about how can I use these colors with sense. If you maybe have 2 different target groups, you can use 2 different colors. Because maybe you have 2 different value propositions for the 2 different customers. Or maybe there are different problems for the different customer groups. So then, a lot of people like to write bullet points on sheets. But if you would write bullet points on a Post-it, like, let's think about we are creating something and our customers are monkeys, elephants, and I don't know, zebras. Let's take zebras. I was in vacation in Africa. Maybe this is the reason why I have this. So now, we tried to find out if these customer segments are really our customer segments. And we did some tests, and then and after all these tests, we now know, okay, the elephants are not our customer group. So now I have it on the canvas, and I want to just get the elephants out of it. I have two opportunities now. The first opportunity is to write a new post-it, or I can try to get these elephants out of this. Not looking really nice. If the elephants, monkeys, and zebras were writing on single post-its, I'm trying to. There is a small elephant on it, just for you. I'm an artist as well. If I would have these, I just could remove this post-it and throw it away, and everything would be fine. So yeah, try to use no bullet points on it. Try to write in capital letters or in letters where you can really read it when you have had a big vacation. I had once a startup who, I did a lean canvas workshop with them, and after 2 weeks they were on vacation somewhere in Spain. I think it was Mallorca, a lot of alcohol, a lot of partying. And after these 2 weeks they came back and were saying like, okay, Jules, we cannot read the things we write down on the lean canvas. Can you help us? What did we write? And I was like, how should I know what you write on your canvas? I was with you, but I'm doing that every day with startups. So I hear business models every day. So yeah, I told you before you need to write that you can read it after. And they was like, okay, our fault. Now we have to do it again. And I was like, yeah, your fault. And they would never do the same mistake again. They would now always write in a clear way so that they can understand themselves on this canvas. And of course, only one idea per canvas, because it would be like really chaotic if you have 5 different business models on one canvas. But you have also the possibility to go home and just make one of your walls free and put there whatever 10 business models on it, and then you can create yourself a really colorful wall with business model canvases or lean canvases. And another great tip is consider time. My tip is there, look at the first version and try to think about, okay, let's try this for the next 6 months. In the company I worked before, we did innovation programs in big companies like Bayer, Telecom, and stuff like this. And every year, or every half year, we met and did something like an offsite. And then we filled out a canvas, a lean canvas, for our business model. We were always like, every 6 months, we were thinking about, do our customer segments fit to do we need to change something in our business models? Do we have these customers? Do we have this problem? Is our solution the right solution, or do we need to change something in the solution? We did a lot of innovation workshops, and there were some new methodologies like design sprints or lean startups or design thinking. And then there was a hype with design thinking, and this was the reason why we ran a lot of design thinking workshops. But then the hype of design thinking was gone, and then we did a lot of lean startup workshops. And yeah, and if you just take your time and just half an hour or an hour to just think about, do I have these problems? Are the problems the same? Because problems and everything are changing, or needs are changing. So now there would be the video, but it's not there. So I will show you now one business model. I fill out with you live the link canvas for the business model for OLED. But first I would like to introduce OLED to you. OLED is a company founded in the US. Have you heard about it? Do you know what OLED is? Okay, OLED saw one big problem. Who is a father or mother in this room? Okay, we have some fathers and mothers in this room. So, and there is a really huge problem, and we had this, my best friend lost her child 1 week after birth, so it's really emotional. And the founders of OLED saw this problem, this big problem of this sudden infant death. And I think a lot of parents are really like, have a great fear of this sudden infant death. And they were thinking about, okay, maybe there is a solution to minimize this risk of this sudden infant death. And yeah, they built a business model out of it, and I would like to show you this. Yeah, I hide something here, so this is really cool. This is like really holding everywhere. It's not like a Post-it, and you can like reactivate it with your hair. So yeah, I like this stuff. So there is not like a real structure where you should start, but I recommend to start with the problems and go over to the customer segment, but it's totally on you if you want to start on another point. So I think the biggest problem they saw was that there is a big fear of sudden infant death on parents. And there are already existing alternatives, but they are too complex and too expensive. My stepdaughter was really sick when she was born, and they had something like this monitoring whatever thing. One of the startups had something like this downstairs. I saw it, this incubator thing. Yeah, but it's really complex and it's really expensive. And there are existing alternatives who are not good at all. Maybe they are not comfortable for the baby. In Germany, we have a mattress where you can lay your baby on, and yeah, but yeah, a lot of parents like say, I don't know if it's so comfortable for my baby, or I don't know if the function of it is really good enough. And so these are the problems they saw. And yeah, what do they have for customers? They have the customer segments, the parents, of course. Maybe another customer segment could be the grandparents. But let's see. Let's first have a look on the parents. And of course, the children up to 18 months. Because after 18 months, the problem with the sudden infant death is not so high, or not there anymore. But I could now make the children in another color. But yeah, did you have ever tried to ask a child up to 18 months how is he feeling or whatever, or if it's comfortable to lay on this mattress or to wear this and that? So yeah, and you have this early adopters as well on your customer segment box. And an early adopter could be, in this case, maybe a parent. So an early adopter would be my best friend, Sabrina, who lost her baby 1 week after birth. So maybe the next time she would buy something like this, that maybe this will not happen again. So what they were thinking about, these cool founders. They were thinking about, okay, maybe we can develop a smart sock. You see this sock here on the baby feet with vital function monitoring. If there is something going wrong, there will be an alarm via iPhone, so you have an app as well. And the solution needs to be comfortable for parents and children. So you need to put it on your baby in a fast way, and it doesn't have to disturb the baby. And there was one big problem. Now they already solved this problem, so it's not a problem at all. But when they were like testing their first prototypes, the sock was a little bit different. And yeah, there is one bad thing, a really bad thing happened. The baby feet got burned because the electricity was a little bit too high and the material was not good enough. So yeah, not too cool for the business model, but yeah, everything is fine. Now it's working much better. And what they want to give to their customers. Of course, they want to monitor the vital functions trustfully and give them a safety feeling. Yeah. The next thing is, okay, which channels are useful to reach your customers? Of course, every startup or every company in the world needs to have a website. The next place, what are all these? I just see it because all of my friends are pregnant at the moment. I'm 32, nearly turning 32, so yeah, maybe I will be a mother in the next 2 or 3 years as well. So what are they doing? Do you know what young mothers are doing? Or what are we doing when we are sick? Are we going to the doctor directly, or what are we doing when we're feeling sick? We are Googling, absolutely. And what is when we are Googling? We are dying the next day. So, yeah. So all of my friends are really like, are on social media or on Google, like using, watching to all this whatever, social media, blogging mummies and seeing what they are doing. Then of course PR could be a great channel to reach your customers. And of course the retail. You can go to all these baby shops and just place it there, and you have this in the retail. So the next thing is, how do we make money out of our, I forgot to write something down. How do we make revenue out of this business model? And it's this $250, this sock costs together with this app. And maybe there can be some other revenue streams. Maybe you can do some advertising, or you get maybe some money from the government or from a health organization, because they really see like, okay, this is a really great thing and we want to help you out with this, and here's $1 million and you can develop it a little bit further.
So as far as I'm concerned,
They don't have issues on. So, yeah, but this is, you don't need this for an health insurance. You just need to spend this $250 and you have the product. So some people maybe don't have this $250, and maybe there is in America nobody who would fund a product like this. But I could imagine maybe there is in Germany, Dräger, who are producing all this medical stuff. They are developing something like this in Germany as well. It will be a wristband for babies. Here is it's a sock. There is a wristband. Maybe there is something in Hungary too. I don't know. Then tell me. But I would think that the German health system would like really give money to founders like this to develop it a little bit further, because, yeah, this is really like a big problem. Nobody wants to lose. Everybody who has a child, or even if not, nobody wants to lose his child or a loved one. Okay, but what kind of costs we have? Of course, we have these costs of production to get in the production of the socks. Then we have the costs for the development of the software and the app, and we have costs of sales and marketing. Of course, we have some more costs. Like we have to pay our employees, we have to pay taxes, we have to pay other stuffs like, maybe if you have office somewhere, you need to pay your office and everything, but you don't write. There are some like things who has really like nearly every company. You can write it down, but I just focused on this 3. So, and then there is an unfair advantage. Sometimes it's not easy to see, do I have an unfair advantage? What could be my unfair advantage in this case when I would be the founder of OLED? Any ideas? Like something, you know, if you have insights, maybe in the branch or maybe contacts, who will, yeah, brings you yourself in a better position than maybe another founder. So if I would be a doctor, this could be an unfair advantage. If I would be the president of a parents' association, whatever, who are like having the topic of silent info desk, this would be an unfair advantage. But I will make it a little bit easier for you. So everybody of you knows Lukas Podolski, the famous football player, the most famous football player, the best person in the world. He's from Cologne and So I told you I love my city. So yeah, Lukas Podolski. So if Lukas Podolski would be my best friend, and I would like to release a new sports brand, I had an unfair advantage because I have Lukas Podolski who could support me, yeah, in like promoting my sport label called Lion. Yeah, even if there is Puma, Nike, Adidas, and so on. When I have Lukas Podolski and maybe some other of our national team, that would be my unfair advantage. So you could have unfair advantages too. So maybe some of you just worked in a company and saw, or in the production, in the manufacturing, that there are things not running really fluently. Then, and you really know a lot of it, and then you really like try to invent a new product, you have an unfair advantage because you already have the leads. You already know whom to call to like sell this product or this service.
Why do you call it unfair? It's a strategic advantage also.
Yeah, but sometimes it's unfair. Maybe I could have the same idea as you have, but I don't have the context like you. Then it's unfair, a little bit.
You're in the bad place.
Yeah, of course. But this is what I mean with unfair. So now I just wanted to ask you to fill out a new canvas, but we have 2 o'clock. When do we have to leave? At 3:30, right? So we have to do. We have the possibility to make this exercise. I brought small canvases, and here are Post-its and pens, and here smaller Post-its as well. And I have 2 bigger canvases. Are there any volunteers who want to fill out a big canvas and to present it afterwards when we are ready with this exercise in 50 minutes to the audience, to all of us, and get some feedback on it? No volunteers? Think roll. Cool. Anyone else? Anyone there maybe to support? Okay. So take your canvas, think about it. You can also just discuss about it, or just try to bring an idea on it, what you were thinking about, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. Just try it out. Think roll will get this big canvas, so we have bigger Post-its here as well, or if you want, you can use the steadies. Here is the canvas. I would say 50 minutes will start now. And yeah, go and grab your stuff and scream for help, and I will come.
The first rule was not write on your canvas, but can we write on it, or should we use Post-it?
You can.
Because it's it's small.
Yeah, it's really small. You can, on this small one you could write, but if you want to reuse it, you can take post-its
Ah, okay.
like you prefer it. Where are you? Here are you.
Okay.
You can just take the small for
Yeah,
yourself,
sure.
and you have the bigger one. And I don't know if you want to use post-its or if you want to use the steadies, or if you need different colors.
Where shall we put this?
Okay.
Where? On the board there? Or where do you want to put this?
Or we can just remove mine, and then you can do it there.
Yeah.
I think it's easier then.
Unless you want to keep it.
No,
You don't need these post-its?
no, I can keep them, but I can do it.
No. Let me just look through. Thank you.
Can I use it?
Yeah, of course. And here's another pen, and here are bigger pens. Welcome.
I have a question. Why did you choose lean canvas and why not business model canvas?
Well, business model, okay. Yeah, I will explain it later to the whole audience, but yet I will answer the questions to you now. The lean canvas takes one step back. The business model canvas is more useful when you already found your scalable and growth-orientated business model. If you are in the first phase where you just have the idea, then the lean canvas is a little bit easier because it focuses on the problem and the solution, and you know, on some other things. And the business model canvas here, you have your partnerships. There you have your key activities and key resources, and there you have your relation. Yeah, and this is something that you might know when you are in the beginning. If you would have just an idea 5 minutes ago, like, okay, this could be a great idea, then you can just go and take your canvas and like just try to fill it out, and yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This is the reason. You're welcome. So, okay, if you're not ready yet, no worries at all. You can finish this at home, and I hope you will do it now every day, maybe 4 or 5 times, no, just joking. And just to let you know, there are already tools on the internet where you can fill out these canvas online as well. And there are also different canvases. So I just brought the business model canvas and the lean canvas. And the reason why I took this lean canvas, the lean canvas takes just this one step back. Yeah. If you have the business model, you really have then you know much better than you have that you have a scalable business model because you develop something more. And the lean canvas is you can really use when you are in the early stage on the ideas. You can use it for brainstorming with the team and everything. And this is also really cool if you would imagine like Mark Zuckerberg would have started with this lean canvas when he was thinking first time about Facebook, and he maybe had his version #1 now, and he took a photo out of it, and now he maybe has a business model canvas, and it's really cool for the history as well, where you started and where you are now. So, and another thing I didn't tell you was the field with the key metrics. It's the list, it's the field where you can list some key numbers that tell you that your business is running well, or running really good. Like, okay, if you were like saying, okay, I need in the first 6 months I need 10 customers, and you only found 1, then maybe you did something wrong, or your business model is not working really well. So, but we had one volunteer, so I'm really glad that Paul will introduce the lean canvas of Synchro to us. If you are ready, Paul, we are ready. So the stage is yours, and I'm excited.
I hope you are ready. My company is developing the gearbox technology. Gearbox is is a thing between the motor in a car, for example, and the application, which is like the wheels, or the wind turbine propeller and the generator. There's a gearbox between the two. They're like changing the direction of the movement from the motor to the application, or changing the speed, these kind of things. Like tool gears. Wherever you see tool gears, you can use our technology. That's the key point. So, in a sense, that we concentrate on the advantage of the gearbox in terms of energy savings. We have no friction. The balls are doing pure rolling. Unlike tool gears, there is friction between the teeth, so they lose energy. The efficiency, which is the term, kind of measures how much energy is lost. If it is 100%, then no energy is lost. If it is 0%, all energy is lost. The problem we are solving is this loss of energy. Because the current gearboxes have less than 100 efficiency, and we claim we have higher efficiency than they have. Our solution is that we are using balls. I'm okay with the beginning, I'm going to have later. And existing alternatives, for example, when the gear is really bad, then they basically just get rid of the whole gear and they just have a direct driven thing. So the motor drives the application directly. So I call it no gear, which is not possible, actually, very rarely possible. Difficult to make such motors and everything. And so that's the alternative. The key metrics, it's probably misunderstood. The key metrics is
just leave this field.
Is the revenues, I guess. Or you tell me. So how well the company is doing is basically just.
Maybe it could be in revenue from whatever. I just throw a number in the room. Like a key metrics could be 50,000 revenue in the first 6 months. This could be a metric, or whatever, 20 sold products in the first 6 months.
It could be other things like, how many hits my website received, how many
of course,
prototypes I made. And,
because out of this you see the interest of your business model.
Okay. So my value proposition is saving energy, which has all kinds of consequences. Saving costs, money, saving carbon dioxide emission, saving, making the gear more precise because it doesn't warm up because of no friction. So if it's a precision equipment, it will be more precise. But these are the money is the most major stuff. We actually did this before for a special case. That's what this means, right? So basically, question if there is some kind of analogy I can use here, right?
Yeah, if you have one.
For example, they have screws. You know what a screw is? You have the screw and the nut, and there's friction. That's why we use screws. But often they don't want friction, so they put balls between the screw and the nut, so that it runs very quickly. That's what they call ball screws. What we do is exactly the same thing. It's just ball screws are in linear direction, so you turn the screw and the nut is running in the same direction. The rotational axis is the same, coaxial. In our case, it is everything, any rotation axis. So we actually generalize the ball screw idea, which is not clear. The core structure is R&D. If you disagree with me, let me know. That's actually my value here, if I can get some advice from you. The revenue phase is we are selling two models. We can sell the technology, or we actually can manufacture the gears and sell the products, the hardware itself. And accordingly, if we sell the technology, then we are selling to gear makers. because they will make our gears using our technology, or we are selling to the users who actually buy the gears and we can produce the gears for them. That's the manufacturing, the production. Who are the early adopters? I don't know. That kind of early, so early in time or later?
Early adopters, the group of people who are really like having the big...
In general, or early in time, in the beginning of the development process?
Yeah, you have the problem the most, you have the most issues with this energy wasting thing and you want to be more efficiency.
Basically, two answers. The early adopters could be the techie people like NASA.
Absolutely right.
Or those people who are very motivated for technological development, maybe the military, science, these kind of things. Or the other group of people could be who are stressed. They have to innovate because they are in trouble for some reason. They are challenging the market leader, and this could be one way to challenge. So then, these are the early adopters who actually who jump in quickly in time. Now, in general, later on, who are our most motivated customers may not be early adopters, but who actually would be most interested are those who actually use the advantages. So who want to save money, for example, power industry, generating power, or escalators, or elevators, or these kind of things. Who want to, who are very environment focused. They want to, reduce CO2 or things like that. So, the unfair advantage, I'm not sure if I have any. This is about me, right? So if I have an unfair advantage, the actual company.
Or someone in your environment, like maybe your partner or
somebody else.
Yours.
I'm not
What is your superpower? You can.
I'm not a good gear maker. I'm not.
But maybe you have some good context in this industry why you are. So your superpower maybe could be then. This is the reason why there is this Superman sign, and that you have great contacts or great leads.
My skills actually are from physics, then banks, and kind of dealing with analyzing companies on the stock exchange. Okay, have some kind of business attitude as well.
So these are your superpowers. Really cool.
Last night you mentioned your unfair advantage.
Which was
30 years in this field. 30 years of expertise in this field.
Yeah, in these three fields, which are all relevant in this case. So this
That's
combination
unfair
might be
advantage.
unusual. Yes, right. So
And you have another
having a
unfair
physicist who works
advantage.
for banks is not very usual. Right.
And you have licensed your business model or a patent on it, right? And
No,
this is
this
also unfair advantage because so nobody can copy it because it would be forbidden to copy it.
Okay.
So you have a lot of superpowers and unfair advantages. So watch out for Paul.
I am Superman. Channel is nothing special.
Channels. On what channels you reach your customer? Do you have direct contacts with them?
Yeah. I go to fairs, like Hanover.
Fairs.
So this could be a channel. A channel is a fair.
Yeah.
A channel could be a direct contact.
In this industry, the Messe in Germany, that's just extremely important.
And if you just have an idea about what channel you could have, you could test this out. Like, okay, now you are thinking like, Paul already know that fairs is a really good channel, but it could have been that you went on fairs and that you didn't get any customer out of it, and you get more customer in the direct contact. So you could then it would be a test that you that you went to fairs, but you have already proven that fairs is a really good channel for you to get new customers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for this. There would be, I think there are some more channels.
Any
So,
more
but,
ideas?
so So, do you have any ideas? Did you understand the business model from Paul? Do you have any ideas what he should think about?
Yes, I have one comment. I'm not quite sure about the key metrics. I think that this formulation of key metrics is in the situation when you have already achieved at least the proof of concept. But if you are a startup, developing this, I suppose that key metrics should be more oriented to technical aspects, to the relation between problem and solution. To what degree you have coped with the solution.
I used the number of hits on my website. I was actually espionaging on my headset who was visiting my pages, and I saw the actual companies. That was a good metrics. You are right. But since now we have revenues.
Well, for your stage of development, I think this could be quite
But you're totally right. And when you are in the first, a proof of concept could be, or are there like really people interested that they maybe make pre-orders or something like this? This could only be also be a good key metrics if you want to sell a product and you just say, okay, I just release a landing page with my product where you have the possibility to pre-order, and if you see there are 100 pre-orders, then you can think about maybe to produce this idea. But I will tell you another example later on who did it in a lean way. And there was the Dropbox founders did it in a really lean way, but to this later on. If there are no questions or ideas for Paul, I will thank you very much for this, and I would like to give a big canvas for you so you can hang it in your office or in your home and work with it on and on. Thank you. So now, I told you that we have these 3 meta principles. The first was like document or visualize your plan A. This is what we did. And now the second thing is identify your risky assumptions and then test your riskiest assumptions. So, but I want to tell you something before we go on. A business model canvas or a lean canvas or a project canvas do not replace a business plan. If you want to go to a bank or if you want to go to an investor, you really need to have more detailed information. If you would go with a canvas like this to a bank, just imagine, you go to a bank with this canvas and then roll it out and tell the bank manager, okay, I would like to have 3 million euros from you. Here is my business model, I can tell you everything. Then he would say, thank you, Jules, very much that you were here. Would you like to have a coffee? Go back, write your business plan, and maybe you can come back again. So this is just for you to use to make you a structure to help you to visualize your business model and to really see what you can make out of it. But it's not useful for searching for investment. An investor wants to have some more detailed information about your revenue streams and about your cost structure and everything. So, but I told you we already documented the plan A, and now I brought another quote. I have some quotes all the day. This is Mike Tyson fighting, and Mike Tyson said once, everybody has a plan until he gets punched in his face. And this is what startup or founder's life is about. Think about this thing, you know? He had a really great plan, and then he released it and just recognized that, okay, nobody wants to buy this shit, yeah, in this case. So, Ash Maria, also a really, really important man. He was the inventor of the lean canvas. He just took the business model canvas from Alexander Osterwalder and says, okay, we need something which take this one step back, and this was the reason why he invented the lean canvas. And see, he says once, the true job of an entrepreneur is to systematically de-risk their business model over time. Because everything you fill out here, in Paul's fall, it's a little bit different because he's also already having a running business model, you know? There are not question marks in every field. But if you are going with your first idea in the first weeks, there are all just question marks. These are all just assumptions. You don't know nothing. Not nothing, but nearly nothing. And your job is to make like, okay, it's okay. I now know that it's like this and that. Watch at the fair thing Paul tells us. He checked this out, and he really knows now that fairs are a really good channel for him to get new customers. So now he can go on fairs all over the world and try to bring his product to the people. So what do you see? I don't know if you can see it so good, but what do you think? Are they beautiful women? Do we have beautiful women here? No idea? They are not so beautiful at all. Yeah, because their mouth and their eyes are turned around. In the next picture you cannot see it, but you will see it in the presentation I will have. There is also one child who has turned around his eyes and his nose, her eyes and her nose. And this is also just to show you that on the first sight things look different. Yeah, and you really need to have a deeper look in it. Or imagine when you and this is also really like something I can just tell you out of my experience. Don't fall in love too much with your idea. Yeah, you need to love your baby and idea, but don't fall in love with it, because what happens when you fall in love? Imagine when you fall in love the first time. You thought, okay, this man or this woman is the woman I want to marry, whatever and ever. I stepped in this trap so many times, and now I already know, but I'm nearly turning 32 and I'm not married yet. So you always see when you fall in love for the first weeks or month that you really don't want to see things on a person who are not good to you or whatever. And this is the same thing in a business model. So really always try to step back and try to see it from another position. You know, don't be too close on your idea. Another thing is done is better than perfect. I worked in a company and my boss was always like, I just want to see perfect work from you. It needs to be 150%. Then I went to the startup scene, and my boss in the startup scene told me, why are you not ready yet, Jules? And I was like, okay, I'm thinking about to make this button green, but in red it also looks really good, or do I need to formulate it in this way or in this way? And he was like, oh, please stop talking, it's ready, release it. Or I needed to order pants, and I was thinking, okay, do I order this pants or that pants? And he was like, can you just order pants, please? Thank you. And yeah, my life in the company was, okay, I need to search for the best pants with a whatever. So yeah. Now is the question where to begin with all these. When you have this many question marks and you need to think about where to begin. And there you can begin with your riskiest assumption. And there is a step-by-step validation to find this out. In the first step, you really need to see, is that really a problem? Is there really a need? Who has this problem? And even if there are people who are having this problem, or companies who are having this problem, or whatever, are they willing to pay for a solution? There are things who really okay, great to have, but I won't pay that. I won't pay for that. So, this is the first step. Like getting a deep dive into the problem and getting to know your market and your customer. The next step is searching for the interest in the solution. So you already developed the solution, and now you can test it. Does the customer want this solution? Does he understand it? sometimes it's way too hard to understand it. Yesterday we had these pitches. We had 5 pitches yesterday. And for me, I only understand 3 ideas. I understand weed, I understand glove eye, and I did understand think roll. But I had my difficulties to understand hype cam in this 5 minutes. I had my difficulties to understand hand cut in this 5 minutes. And I think, or I know that these are really, really, really great ideas. They can make a great business model out of it, but I didn't understand it. So it's really, really important that you make your product or your service understandable. And of course, does he want to pay for this solution? And in the third step, can we keep the promise of our value? Will the user or the customer come back? You don't want them to just buy your product or your service just one time. You want them to use it more times, you know? The founders of Airbnb don't want their customers to just book Airbnb one time. They want to book it or never book a hotel again and just book Airbnbs. For me, it's the same. I really like spending time in Airbnbs because Airbnbs is more, for me, I feel more like being at home and I feel much more comfortable than staying in a hotel. But this depends. So these are these 3 steps of step-by-step validation. But really important, people, you only find answers outside. Get out of the building. Talk to people. Don't stay in this theoretical room or just in your whatever office and think what the customer might think. Ask him what you think about things. And this can you do with out of customer interviews. And we will just we will just dive a little bit deeper in this customer interview segment because I think this is the most helpful tool for founders. And this is the most helpful and also like, a book which is really fun reading. It's called Mom Test. All the books I showed you are available in English and in German, and maybe there are also available in Hungarian, I'm not sure. And the Mom Test, Robert Fitzpatrick wrote this book. He wrote this for one reason. What are moms and dads are doing when you're telling them from a great idea? What are they doing? What does your mom tells you when you tell her out of a good idea? Not my mom, because my mom is bad. No, I love her, but she's bad in this case. But most of the time, people don't want to hurt you, or your mom don't want to hurt you, and they say, okay, great idea, son. And I'll go on, even if it's shit. So for me, it's like, it's not always the Mom Test. I don't know if you have something like this in Hungary too, but we have these casting shows in Germany. Do you have these casting shows for singing and stuff? Yeah. Like searching for the next superstar? So for me, the most hilarious moments are the castings, the first castings. And there are always people, and I think you all know these people, who are not able to sing. So, and I always thinking, don't you have friends? Don't you have family who tell you that you are not a singer? So I'm not really good in singing, and I hope that my friends and my parents love me so much that they say, Jules, please don't go, because you cannot sing. And this is something similar where you can compare this. So in this Mom Test book, he just explained how to learn from your customers when everyone lies on you. Sometimes people just lie on you to, whatever, go on and go for a coffee. Like, okay, yeah, thanks, it's cool, but I need to go, yeah. Because it's much easier for us as humans to tell people nice things than to give people critical feedback. But the critical feedback is the most valuable thing you need to get. You can also ask your customers in a way that they can just give you good feedback, but good feedback or just like these sugar storms are not good for you. So, the golden rules for customer interviews are, if you want to find out something about the problem and about how he is solving the problem at the moment, the first thing is, don't pitch your idea and don't sell your idea. You want to get to know something about the customer and the market, and you don't want to tell him that you have already a solution. The second is, ask open questions and do not influence. You can really like influence people if you say, okay, but we will have examples like, okay, I see you like stripes, right? You wear stripes every day. And you would say, yeah, maybe, okay, not every day, but yeah, but it's easier. So then the third is listen carefully. Let him, her tell her story. When people have a problem, we already know, they are really likely to talk about this. And also really important is this present and past scenario against this future scenario. We already know what happened yesterday or last year or whatever, and we know what is happening at the moment, but we don't know what will happen tomorrow. So don't ask hypothetical questions about the future, because nobody knows. I would love to fly to Jamaica tonight, hypothetically, but practically I cannot, because I have a workshop tomorrow in Germany, I don't have money, my boyfriend is waiting, blah, 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 you know? So please try to stay in the present and the past and find about that. And the last thing is keep it casual. Do an interview like a conversation. I don't know if you have this in your cities, like people running through cities for maybe World Health Organization and with questionnaires. I really run from them. I hate them. But in the startup scene, a lot of startups just get in a conversation with me. Like there was one guy who was thinking about to make new sneakers. And I'm a sneaker girl. Not today, but yesterday I wore sneakers. And then he was like saying, wow, cool sneakers. And I was like, okay, thank you. I'm absolutely a sneaker freak. He was like, okay, cool, you're a sneaker freak. And what kind of sneakers do you have? And how many money you spend on sneakers? And he asked me a lot of questions. And after it, he was telling me, Jules, I just did a small interview with you. And I just wanted to ask you, I'm now thinking about to develop a new a sneaker, and can I have your email address and can I contact you, and maybe when the first prototype is there, maybe you could test the sneaker because you have already 200 pairs of sneakers. And I was like, of course I would. And this was really smart. So a simple example for you, we are now all founders of an iPad cooking app. So just think about it, that we are all these founders. So, and I told you that the number one rule is do not pitch. A customer interview is not a sales talk, not a sales meeting. So if you would say, I'm developing a new, extremely simple app as a cheap alternative to the cookbook, may I ask you some questions about this? This is not a good question because you already told him everything about it. And maybe he's not interested then because he then knows, okay, now he wants to ask me so many questions, blah, blah. But if you see, because you know that your target group is someone who owns an iPad, and you see someone maybe in the train or in the airplane sitting and watching, doing stuff on his iPad, and you would see, okay, I see you have an iPad, may I ask you a few questions? Then he would be interested and say, okay, why he would like to ask me something about iPads. So, and do not say. If you would say, would you buy this cookbook app for an unbeatable price of $149? Then he would say, yeah, I would do that. Hypothetically, we would do so many things. But ask him, okay, can you give me this 149? And then you will see if he would give you this 149. You can test it directly. And I think 9 out of 10 people will not give you this 149 directly. So better is it, do you buy cookbooks? And if you would say, no, I would never buy a cookbook. I never cook because my wife is doing it or my husband is doing it. Then it's not your target group. You can say, okay, thank you for answering me this question. I was just thinking about if you are a cook or a chef. And what do you spend on an average cookbook? So my boyfriend is really in love with cooking, and I think he buys himself around 2 or 3 cookbooks a year, and it costs around 30 euros. So he spends around 120 euros on cookbooks. So maybe a smart cooking app could be a solution for him to save a lot of money. So he could be in a target group. Another thing, ask open questions. You love your iPad, right? You use it every day. You would answer the question with yes, even if you just use your iPad for waking you up. But if you just use it for waking you up, you would never search for a recipe for whatever, scrambled eggs. You always use it to check for recipes. He would answer this question with yes, even if he just searched for a recipe for scrambled eggs 1 or 2 times. Better is, how do you like your new iPad? What are you using it for? When he tells you that he just uses it in a business case, then it's not your target group. Okay, it would be your target group when he's a chef. But how many chefs are using iPads in the kitchen? Not too many, I guess. So, another open question. Don't pretend to answer, no questionnaires. Questionnaires are sometimes quite hard because you can also like making customer problem interviews with questionnaires with Google Forms or Typeforms or SurveyMonkey or whatever these tools name. So this is sometimes a little bit hard. Look at these questions. How many apps do you buy per year for your iPad? Up to 3, 5 to 7, more than 7. What kind of information you will get out of this question in relation to your cookbook? Nothing. Because this doesn't tell you. If you would ask how many cooking apps you buy per year for your iPad, this would be a better question. Not the best, but a better question. Because if he just buys 7 apps a year, but there is not only 1 cooking app inside, this is a useless information for you. Better is, when was the last time you bought an app for your iPad? If yes, which one and why exactly this one, or if not, why not? Then you can find out, okay, the user experience with this app was not too good, or it took too many clicks to get to the point where I want to get. The other thing is, I don't need to explain that, is listen and let them talk. Really just ask questions to get more information out of it, but really just listen. If you are a founder of 2, you can really make these interviews like, one is like having the interview with a customer, and the other is just listen. We'll just listen, and then afterwards you just write down all your things, and then you can change the roles. That then maybe the other is the interviewer and the other is the listener. Okay, present versus future. Do not ask hypothetical questions. Would you ever use an app that works like in Cookbook for the iPad? Yeah, why not? But why should I? Yeah, better was, when was the last time you bought or used a cookbook? When you are something like a guy like my boyfriend, who I really like, is a nerd in cooking and cookbooks. Yeah, you would know, okay, he's like really reading cookbooks like others reading the newspapers, or he's also searching for recipes on the internet. He just got up last weekend and says, babe, I would like to make something like this for breakfast and that and blah, and I just Googled it and this sounds so great. I'm going to the supermarket, and I could not answer and he was gone. So yeah, he would be really good, and because he would answer these questions like, okay, I every second day I read a recipe in my books or I Google a recipe. And of course, keep it cool, keep it casual. Don't go with this like questionnaire sheet. This is really like where people are like, yeah, hiding or running away from you. So now I brought some questions, and now you tell me if these are good or bad questions. Do you like my idea? Is this a good or is this a bad question? Absolutely true, but it's because this is a yes or no thing, and nobody wants to hurt you. Would you pay for something that solves your problem? Yeah, because it's hypothetically. How are you dealing with your problem right now? This is a good question, right? What exactly was it like when the problem last time occurred? Good, because you just get to know something more about it. How much would you pay for the solution? Yeah, it's not, in this case, it's not too bad, but this would is always this hypothetically. Maybe then you can ask how much money you're already spending to solve your problem. Like, just remember my boyfriend, $120 a year for cooking books. And if you could save, I don't know, 115 euros out of it, it would be really great. So this is sometimes a little bit hard, but yeah, maybe you can make a range then as well when you have questionnaires in the internet that you have, okay, would you pay 5 to 10 euros or whatever, 100 to 200 euros. Okay, how much money are you spending on X at the moment? I already made it because I had the example before. And if you want to find out about the market and the problem, it's totally okay to hold back a little bit and not to talk about your idea yet. At the first step, or the most important thing as a founder, is really to know about the customer and his world and his routines and his lifestyle and whatever. That's okay for the first step. And then you are an expert and you will get much better in developing your product because you know much more about it. So, when was the interview a success? If you get the permission to contact the customer again. Think about this sneaker thing. I told this guy, of course, give me the sneakers. I want to test them. And I know a group of sneaker freaks. There is one guy who has whatever 500 sneakers. Contact him. And I gave him this contact. Yeah? And if there have been a possibility to see the sneakers before, I would say, okay, I would like pre-order it for my best friend because we love to twinning in sneakers or something. And yeah, also a great quote again from Thomas Edison, the inventor of a lamp. He has not failed. He only found 10,000 ways that won't work. And remember this sheet of failing. He learned a lot out of it, and this is the reason why he was such a great inventor of a lamp. But remember, there are things you don't have to validate. There are things who are facts and you already know. When Apple was thinking about thinking about iTunes, to release iTunes on the market, they don't have to ask themselves, do people want to have portable music? Because we already had Walkmans, Discmans, and all these other stuff. So this was a fact. So what is the riskiest assumption right now? Just step a little bit back and think about OLED, the business model I told you. If you would go through the lean canvas, and we just imagine that here will be the post-its of OLED, then you can go through it and say, okay, what can I see out of it? What assumption I can extract out of my canvas? And I extracted some assumptions out of the lean canvas of OLED, just to give you an example. So, we believe that an alarm via smartphone is trustworthy. In this first step, this is just an assumption. Now we are really like used to our iPhones and are used to our smartphones, like we trust them in any case, but maybe a parent or a mother would not trust an alarm on his iPhone, maybe on her iPhone, because maybe the battery ran out of energy or stuff like that. So this could be an assumption. Another thing is, we believe that the existing solutions are too complex to use. So remember, the German competitor with the wristband could say, okay, we think that this smart sock is too complicated for them to use, for the parents. A wristband is much easier. Another thing is, we believe that parents pay $249 or more for this solution. I don't know. We're in Germany, maybe we have enough money, but maybe there will be places on it where the people are not able to spend money out of it, and it really depends where you start your business. And then you can have this risk matrix. This is German. So I just paint it out. You can just paint it by yourself. You don't need a canvas for this. You can also just use the back side of your canvas for this risk matrix. And it's just a cross where you have the critical and the non-critical, and the known and the unknown. And then you go with all your assumptions you wrote down on a Post-it or whatever, and just put it into this matrix. And then another risky assumption was, we believe that parents of children up to 18 months have a strong fear of sudden infant death. I think this is the riskiest assumption. This is the assumption who is here, and the other assumption is, we believe that children will not accept these uncomfortable materials of the existing alternatives. So, yeah, this is the thing who are really like, you have to find out about. We already know, because I know it in my case, and everybody who is a parent in this room really is a little bit afraid of this sudden infant death. But maybe if we were a species who were totally fearless, then nobody would need a smart sock for monitoring the vital functions of your baby, because we have no fear. And if here are the riskiest assumptions in this field. If you test it out and you find out that there is nobody in the world who has fear out of this problem, you don't need to produce or develop a smart sock to monitor the vital functions of a baby. And this is what you can do with every business model. So this is something like, really get into your business, into your canvas, and think about, okay, what are just risky assumptions? What is not proven? What do I have to find out before I develop it a little bit further? Here are some templates for assumptions that you can use for the task, because I brought you some tasks. These are the slides with this blue and gray boxes. So this you can do as a homework. But I brought you Bart Simpson. I'm a really great lover of The Simpsons, and he already said that he will always test his riskiest assumption, and I can just recommend this to you. Test your assumption, and don't think that you know everything before. Maybe someday you will be an expert in all your fields, but you are not in the beginning. So, what shows real interest in your idea, in your service, in your business model, in your product? This is money. Do people want to give you money for this? Is the government, in your case, maybe willing to give you money for this? Is there, or if are there people who give you the possibility to present your idea, to pitch your idea on Rheinland Pitch? You would not be on a stage on Rheinland Pitch if your idea or your product wouldn't be interesting for the people. Or the crowdfunding thing, you told me. You can release things on crowdfunding platforms to see how is the interest. And of course, leads. If I would tell you, oh, your product is really cool and I would like to connect you to these people, think about the sneaker guy and the sneakerhead and this sneaker club I'm in. Then, of course, time. Do people, because time is money, have the time for appointment with you to talk about your idea? Do people fill out surveys for you? Do they take the time to talk about you with your problems? Or do we have maybe B2B sales pitches or B2B appointments? And of course, reputation. Do the people introduce you to other people, or are there people like your beta user who like say, okay, your idea is so cool, your product is so cool, I would love to write you a testimonial, or if you ask them, would you be my testimonial, you can put this on your website. And this is the second thing, we will come to it later. How can we simply test real interest in the solutions if we do experiments? And experiments can be customer interviews. In the first step, you can do problem interviews, and in the second, you can do solution interviews. I will give you a guideline for these two different problems in the follow-up. So it's no time now to explain it to you. And now we are coming to this, to some more examples. This is Dropbox. I think everybody of you know Dropbox, right? And Dropbox, the Dropbox founders did a really smart and lean thing. Before they coded a thing, they coded not one line, they had the idea, okay, let's make a video where we just explain the functions of Dropbox, just to show it, and release it on our website, and promote a little bit our website in blogs, on social media, and so on, maybe in a newsletter, maybe just send it to some people, interesting people, and they did it. And here you just see the video on the landing page of Dropbox, and here is just a small sentence out of it, like, we didn't launch yet, but we are searching for beta testers. So if you're interested in our solution, leave us your email address and we will get back to you. So another question, how many email addresses they collected? Just throw it in the room, numbers. Was it just one email address, or 10, or 100? 1,000? Okay. Anyone more? More than 1,000? I think it was in a week. 1,000? 75,000 email addresses. Boom. Boom. Yeah, and 75,000 email addresses, just think about, if only 10% of the 75,000 email addresses would buy or pay for this solution, then the first year, it would be a really good business model for the first year. And you really have trust in the investor. The founders went then to an investor and says, okay, they pitched their idea in front of an investor and say, okay, this is the functionality of our idea, this is how it will work, this is our business model, you can use it as freemium, and then you can buy it with an abo model and stuff like this. And then they told them, okay, and we already have 75,000 interested people for our product. And then the investor says, okay, yes, of course, I would like to invest into you. Shut up and take my money. And we now know that Dropbox is one of the most famous and rentable business models in the world. They are a unicorn. The same Buffer did. Does everybody know who's Buffer? Buffer is just a service platform where you can manage your social media activity. So you can go into Buffer, and I did it in my job. I did before because I was responsible for the social media, and I just sat down on Monday and just made all my social media posts for the whole week in Buffer. And Buffer, like really searching for the right time to tweet or to put it on Facebook to get the best conversion out of it. And they just set up their landing page and did a smoke test. They just posted it and said, okay, choose your time to tweet, add your posts to Buffer, and Buffer does the rest, and you can relax. And then people, okay, this is much easier because I don't have to go in this tool to post something and in this tool and in that tool. Yeah, because it's all in one tool. You just have to register once in Buffer and connect Buffer with all your social media accounts, and then Buffer will post it in these different ways. And then they have this call to action, plans and prices. And people were like pushing the button, the call to action, plans and prices, and then they came on another side and said, okay, we are not ready yet, but just leave your email address, we will get back to you when we are ready. Even concierge service is a great thing you can do. The founders I worked for we did this innovation programs in this in big companies. They had a startup before, a really, funny startup for me. I didn't get on this idea, but it was their idea. They were thinking about to make a shuttle service or a driver service for business people who don't want to drive in a normal taxi or want to take an Uber. They want to maybe go with a whatever, Lamborghini or a great car. I'm a girl, I really don't know what kind of car is great, but yeah, let's think about, name a good car. Okay, let's take a Porsche or a Ferrari or something. So they had something different, they had a really, really great car, and they were thinking like they just made an app, and there you could see, okay, you can ask for a driver, and then the driver picks you up. And they had this app, and just the MVP app, where people could order for this shuttle service, but they were sitting just in their student flat waiting for people to ask for a shuttle, and then they wrote an SMS with their mobile phones and then pick the people up. Just to get to know. They didn't develop the app or a really great software out of it. So remember Airbnb, this is all automatically, or this taxi. I use Taxi Budapest, this app. We have this My Taxi thing in Germany as well. But I like this Taxi Budapest. I just ordered it the last time, and I just ordered the taxi for us to go back to the airport later. So in the first step, this could be also a concierge service, just to get to know something about your customer, to then program your algorithm and let your algorithm learn. Or Wizard of Oz, I think it was back in the 70s or 80s. We all know this assistant jobs. A lot of assistants need to write business letters for their managers. And in the past it was like that they're all using this Diktiergeräte, I don't know the English word, like just spoken dictaphone, right, thank you for that. This dictaphone, and they just wanted to say, okay, maybe we can release the assistants a little bit of stress because of this business letters. Maybe there could be a solution where the managers can maybe write the business letters directly via voice recognition. So in the 70s and 80s, the voice recognition started, and I don't know how you are feeling. I think the only one who's really like listening and talking correctly is Alexa. I love Apple and everything, but I hate Siri. I hate her. She's stupid. Sorry. Yeah, but they were thinking about, okay, let's do this. And then they just set up 2 rooms. In the one room, they had just a screen, and there were hidden microphones in this room and the table. And in the second room, they were 2 guys sitting on the computer and having headphones on it, and they could hear what was spoken in the other room. So they just took the manager and say, okay, sit down here and just like dictate your business, your letter. And he was like, okay, should I just say, hey, Mr. whatever, and then yeah, of course, just do this. Okay, like you do it for your assistant. So he did, hey, Mr. Müller, I would love to blah, 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 and then he saw on the screen in front of him that there was like, that there was the text, and he was like, okay, magic. There need to be a wizard somewhere in the room because this is magic. Because he didn't know that in the other room there were sitting these 2 guys who were listening to him and just wrote it down. This was really cool, and they were thinking about maybe to develop it a little bit further because this was just this test. But they mentioned that the computer is not smart enough, and this is what now is coming out of machine learning and everything, not smart enough to check the grammar, not smart enough to formulate it in a nice way, because the assistant knows that you can maybe write in the end of the letter, okay, have a great weekend and best wishes to your wife and looking forward for our next golf date and whatever and whatever. Yeah, and now, and also this like grammar thing. I don't know who did it before. I needed to do it sometimes, not too often, but sometimes for my boss, and it was like, okay, Jules, blah, 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 blah. And these were not even sentences, so I needed to build sentences by myself out of this. And this was not possible with this IBM solution. But this was like really innovative. This was a really innovative idea to check out what it is, and now it will become better and better. And even the possibility is to check a version 1 the first version. Because Mark Zuckerberg, the first version was called the Facebook, and it was just used for universities. And now everybody knows what happened with Facebook. Facebook is not, we will see what will happen with Facebook in the next year, but yeah, glad Mark has Instagram and WhatsApp as well, so not too bad for him if Facebook will die. Oh, Snapchat, sorry, thank you for correcting me. Yeah, and there are some more experiments, what you can do. I really like a picnic in the graveyard. Picnic in the graveyard is like talking to other founders and find out maybe founders who did something similar, what you did, and just try to find out what were their experience, what mistakes they have done, just to learn out of it, not to make the same mistakes. You can do this smoke tests, you can do usability tests, or you can do prototyping and test it out. In Germany, we have a format, what is called usability dinner. There are just startups coming and bring their products and services. There was an S too much. Services, and people can join and they can test the products, and then they can really like check out, is the usability of our app cool, is the product cool, do we need to change something, and they give something to eat and something to drink for them, and then they test it. This is really cool. So yeah, okay. I was just wondering because there's something missing, I wrote down. What to look out for. What is really important when you're thinking about to make a landing page, because a landing page you don't need to be a software developer or whatever to set up a landing page, because we have Instapage and all these other platforms where we can make landing pages. But what is really important for a landing page, and nearly every landing page needs to look like this. First thing is you need to have your unique value proposition with your title and your subtitle somewhere in the first screen you see. Yeah, what is offered and how can it help me? The second thing is you need to have a hero shot, like a picture which is emotional, or if your product needs to be explained, maybe also a short video which is there. And then, of course, a call to action, a simple and easy recognized call to action, like, okay, you just explain, this is my value proposition, blah, blah, blah. Interested, plans and pricing, click here. Yeah, that they really see it in the first screen, because think about how you use internet or how you are acting in the World Wide Web. You are acting in the World Wide Web like this. You go on a web, you Google something. We Google everything and you Google something. So, and then you maybe use the first site of Google and not even more. Who's going on the second site of Google? So, nobody, because we want to have our thing on the first side. So this is really important that you have your search engine optimization and your advertising on this really, really well. But yeah, and if you then go to a landing page, and if you come then to a page where you don't find the thing you were searching for in 1 or 2 clicks, you will leave this website and you will go to the next site, which is listed on Google. So yeah, this is just to help you to have a great structure. The next thing is, what are the most important advantages and features? Like, you have 3 main advantages on it, like, okay, it's cheaper, and then you can find some argumentations, and it's more efficient and whatever, and just with maybe icons or pictures. And of course, this social proof, like testimonials, like logos. When we think about Synchro from Paul, when we would imagine his landing page was looking like there is a big video, like where you can see this fluely running screwball thing, and then there is a description with your unique value proposition and your call to action, and that it's more efficient and it really saves a lot of money and whatever. And under this, there is a social proof, like there is, I don't know, name a company you're working with. Name a big company. Rolls-Royce. So, and then there is maybe the CEO from Rolls-Royce saying, oh, this product or ThinkRoll saved us in the last year $2 million and whatever and whatever. Or even if there would be just the logo of Rolls-Royce, this gives other customers trust to ask you for your product, or whatever, a quality sign or recommendations from others. So it's always like running this build, measure, learn thing, and really like checking out, okay, you can also make an A/B testing on your landing page. You can test this if you cannot decide, should I use this photo or this photo for my landing page, then you can make an A/B testing, like, okay, every second person who would come to my website would see the picture, picture A, and the other would see picture B. And then you can see which picture is like really leading the people to push the CTA or the color of the CTA. And you can test nearly everything. And this is something you can learn out of it. So a minimum viable product is that, or a prototype, you can name it as a prototype as well, is the version of a new product, business model, which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. And this is something some people really don't know, because this is the most, this is the picture most Googled in relation to MVP. Don't produce your products like this. it's not useful. If you want to have something that brings you from A to B, and you see it in the first row, only the fourth thing will really brings you from A to B, but because here you don't have the possibility to yeah. What is it? Lenken? Jelrik? Operate the car. So, yeah, don't do it like this. If you want to have something which brings you from A to B in a comfortable way, if you would release a skateboard to your customer, he won't be happy, but he has something that brings him from A to B. And two, if you will say, sorry, okay, it was not too good, but I will deliver you something new. And you would deliver him this kick roller. He would say, okay, cool, now I can operate with my arms for this thing, but yeah, I'm still like, I wanted to sit comfortable. And then he can say, okay, sorry, I will deliver in the next round. And then you deliver him this bike. And on this bike, I can sit, I don't have to work anymore, but I need to do things by my own. I don't want to do things by my own. I want to sit comfortable, and I don't want to use anything out of my body. It needs to be motorized. Okay, sorry, I will bring you something. Then he brings the motorbike. Then now he's already happy because it's getting better and better and better. And in the last step, it's like, okay, now I have my car, I can sit, I can remove it and have a cabrio, or I have just a normal car. In Germany, such a car would not be so useful because it's raining all the time. I don't know how it is here. So yeah, just remind this. If you're thinking about prototype something or having an MVP of something, try to do it in this way and not in that way. Yeah, here just we are nearly in the end. Here just some recommendations for you where you can find stuff to set up your landing page and get maybe pictures. Because pictures, I don't know how it's here in Hungary, but in Germany we have this right on our own pictures. And I just can recommend to you, just use pictures on your website or whatever in your presentation which are your own pictures or which are from this free stock photo platforms, or which you bought on some of these platforms, because it could be really, really expensive if you get a legal fuck up out of it. Then you can also use explanation videos. I really love Powtoon because it's really cool. You can use My Simple Chew. You can also just draw something by yourself and just record it with a camera. Some students did it because they had a really great idea for a student student furniture, and they just wanted to show me how they want to have their products built, and then they made a video. It was really cool. And then landing page into up to 30 minutes. Instapage is cool, Weebly is cool, Shopify is cool. Also, you can use WordPress because WordPress has so many different plugins and stuff like this to use. You can make mock-ups. If you don't have your app already developed, you can just make screen designs. This is not, this looks like it would be an app which is already on the market, but it isn't. I just designed it in 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, let's say 30 minutes for a startup who wanted to make a funding app for the church. And I just made this for the presentations because they had to present this for in front of the bosses. And they won the pitching competition, and they just worked one day on this idea. But because the bosses could see, it could look like this. It's really easy. I want to give money to a regional organization, and then I can choose. I want to do it for poor children, and I can choose the amount of money I want to spend. I can choose: do I want to do it with PayPal? Do I want to do it with a credit card or with Zapa? And then you can put aside for, okay, I need something which I can use for taxes, because funding is, you can get out of the tax explanation. I don't know the English word. So, on Startup Stash, you find so many things for how to create a logo, how to make questionnaires, how to make your perfect pitch deck, how to get feedback. But this is a little bit overwhelming because they have these boxes, and if you click on one of these boxes, a lot of other boxes will open. So yeah, this is a little bit crazy, but this is really cool for you because this is in English. Please think about when you're developing your ideas and your products that your resources are limited. So really try to think about, okay, now I did my lean canvas and I would like to test this for the next 6 months, and I will spend maybe 500 euros on it, and I will work with my boyfriend on this idea, and then you can maybe, then you have a better idea of your idea, if it will work or not, and then you can think about, okay, I'm searching for funding now, because now it's maybe, okay, I have a better idea of it, if it will be rentable or not. So please save your time, your money, and your motivation, because it's too bad if you are like working on something and you release it and nobody would like to have it. I met a guy on Tinder last summer. Yeah, and this is the last thing I will tell you, because we are in the end. I met a guy on Tinder last year. He was a founder. And the reason that he was a founder was the only reason why I swiped him right. Right? Right swiping is good. Yeah, and then we get in contact and tried to, and started to write a little bit. And here I was like, okay, you are a founder. What are you doing? He was like, no, I don't tell you. And I don't tell you is the most... This is the answer I don't want to hear from my founders, because then you are not a good founder. When you have a patent on something, or if you are really like an inventor of something, then you really have to look if you want to tell people about this. But yeah, he was not looking like he is an inventor of something great. So Ken, I was like, why you won't tell me? No, you are working in the startup scene. You could steal my idea and develop it by yourself. And I was like, I don't have the time to develop your fucking idea, but let's tell me. Yeah, but if I tell you, maybe you tell your startups, and then one of your startups will develop our idea. And I was like, no, our startups have, as even though I no time to develop your idea, so tell me. And it was like a 30 minutes process, and then he told me. He told me that he wants to do a Google for shisha and electronic cigarettes. You know shisha? This water pipe thing, whatever. And I was like, okay, don't you think it's just a trend? And don't you think that all these shisha bars will be away in 2 years? And don't you think that there is a really huge market, and there is a lot of like, there are a lot of other companies on this market? And I was like, no, but we are better. And I was like, okay, a Google? Why a Google? Do I want to find something out about the water pipe? This is what I have Google for. Don't you think it's more in Amazon? Yeah, it's a mix-up out of Google and Amazon. I was like, okay, I'm not sure about this. And I was like asking, okay, how many time or how long are you working on it? And I was like, okay, I'm working on it for 9 months now. And I was like, okay. And how many money do you spend on developing the platform? He was like, already 25,000 euros. I was like, okay, who is working on it? Me and one of my best friends, full time for the last 9 months. And I was like, okay, 9 months, 25,000 euros. Okay, this much in this way. Okay, when do you want to release your platform? He was like, okay, I think we will launch in 3 months. And I was like, okay, and how much money do you think do you need till you can release it? Yeah, another 25,000 bucks. I didn't have heard about a unicorn startup in this e-cigarettes, shisha business from Cologne, because I think Eric and me, we know the ecosystem of startups in Cologne. There is no startup, and yeah, to my mind, I really hope the best for the guys. I don't want something bad for them. But I was like, okay, this is not the right way to find something out, because to my mind is that he loses this 50,000, he loses this 1 year, and maybe he's really, really demotivated because he worked 1 year on a project which will not work because nobody would like to use it. So afterwards, when we had this mentoring thing on Tinder, he asked me for a date, and I was like, no, I spend all of the time with founders. So sorry, you can come to me to my office hours and I can help you out with your business model, but not to have a date with you. So you can get traffic if you go to meetups and events, talk about your idea, this is really important, contact direct leads, go on the street, talk to people, go to fairs and expos, try to ask people in blogs, promote your idea on social media. You can interact with your target group on social media. You can do cold calls and cold emails, but watch out of this data protection, whatever thing. You can also talk to existing customers and channels, and what you can also do to find out something, you can also find out something about your competitors. If you see an idea on the market which is good, but not good enough, you can find out what he's doing and in what way. And it's always in our world is, how can I do something better than another can do it? So, but you really have to do it by yourself. You can't learn Kung Fu by watching just Bruce Lee movies. You really need to practice, and this is what I just can recommend to you. Practice whatever you practice. These are my contact data. Here are my business cards. Grab your stuff. I will send you the presentations. Google for lean canvases, lean startup, design thinking and everything. You can really, really learn a lot in the internet over these methodologies. And of course, if you have an idea and you're not sure maybe which kind of test you would do, or if your interview is good enough, I offer you that you can just send me or contact me or ask me for a call. I cannot spend a whole day with you, but I'm totally open to have a call. But it's up on you. I just can offer it. If you want to do it, you need to contact me. I cannot contact you every day and asking, okay, what about your business idea? I thank you for the time, and I hope it was a little bit helpful for you. And yeah, have a great day, and hope to see you again somewhere in the media with your unicorn startups.